Hey guys, welcome back. This video here, I'm not gonna do much because it's 8:45 at night, but I owe you guys some information. So basically this video will just be an update of what I've been up to. I guess cosmetically, the tractor's not too much different. You guys saw the fenders and the seat and the step down here, all of that. The only other addition that I did was the nose piece here. I'm glad I didn't record that because that took me half a day. Those bolts, there was an easy bolt here. Oh, sorry. There was an easy bolt here, but there's a bolt hiding down in behind here. I don't even know how from the factory you would get to that thing. Even inside, it's down in behind the radiator over here. Plus there's this bolt here down in the front. I know it's kind of dark in there, but just trust me. This nose cone, or this nose piece here, that thing was a real challenge. To get that thing on. So I did put the nose piece on, and you can see up here on the top, I did put this thing is just sitting up here. It's not fastened down. I had to order a new clear bowl. Mark from down at the store's got that coming for me. It was actually, Dale said the one that was on here was no good. It was all yellow and you couldn't see through it. So they're actually fairly inexpensive. They're 25 bucks or something like that for these dust bowls up here. So I got that coming, but this is just sitting on here. The bottom of this air cleaner here is supposed to have one of those, I think they call it a vacuator on it. It's one of them little squeezy, you know, that you just squeeze it to let the dust out. Mark was not able to get me one of them, so I just ordered that online. Another thing I should probably update. If you guys remember, one of my very first YouTube videos working on the tractor was this elbow here. Remember, I had just had it tacked together. It ended up being almost right. So it was plumb this way. So closing one eye did the trick there. But something I didn't account for, this turbo is physically bigger. It's bigger around. So the center line of this turbo is further away than the manifold towards the valve cover. So because it was taller, the stack here ended up being further that way than what the original one was. I didn't think of that, but so what I did was I just had to cut one tack on the far side of this pipe, and I just had to walk it. I had to walk it back out towards these power steering lines here, and as you can see, I welded it all up. So I did sit this hood on. I just set it on there daintily, and I was able to line this pipe up. So I welded inside and out, and I basically polished that whole thing up. And then you can see way up there at the top, Grant was with me on Sunday, and he said it was important that we get that flipper done. For some reason, that was really high on the priority list. So we got the flipper put on it. I think I'm going to paint this stack because we did run this on the dyno, which I'll update you in a second. But I think I'm going to paint the stack because it didn't say stay stainless. You can see how it's kind of if you look at it in the right light, it's kind of purple. But I think I'm going to paint it black, especially with the flipper on the top. That no doubt will be black soon enough. But I'm going to. I think I'm going to paint that. I think I'm going to paint the stack black. I did start wiring it, as you can see. I was going to do a whole video just on wiring, but literally I just set it on here. Dale bought the correct wiring harness for your make model. I just set it on here. Just have to start plugging stuff in. So I didn't think doing a video on wiring was going to be such a big thing or all that exciting to watch anyway. A little bit further back here, I did have to change this spring right in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this was the spring for the tilt wheel. For some reason, somebody had it wired all the way down here to the bottom of the step with a coat hanger. So I had to fix that spring. While we're on this side, one of the next things I'm going to do is I got to fix this shifting lever. See that knob? That's for the range lever over on that side. That's the knobs that are supposed to be on this tractor. This one was missing a knob, but Dale had a set of shifters in a box at home, and he gave them to me. So I'm going to have to, I don't know if I'm going to maybe just weld a bolt to the top of this shifter and just flap wheel it off to get rid of the hex. But anyway, that's on my list. Here, let's go over to the other side. If we go over to the other side, for some reason, I'll even try to show you from here, the range lever, I don't know why, but the range lever here is, again, I don't know why, but it's over here in front of this brake pedal. I know from your angle where you're sitting, it looks like it's right in front of it. It's not quite, but I feel like if you were to reach up with your right foot to push the left brake, your shins are hitting the shifter lever. It's actually in low now, it's forward. So if you were to put this down in high, you can hardly reach around the shifter lever. So I might try to either, I don't know, I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm thinking about cutting the shifter lever off, or at least cutting a notch out of it and bending it forward and welding it back shut. But I don't know, I got to do something with that range lever. It's going to be right in the way. Another thing I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to install a battery switch. These tractors, it's got no, I mean, there's no battery switch from the factory, but almost every tractor I have has one, and this one don't. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to install it. You can see these two bolts on the side of the bell housing here. I'm going to make me up a bracket. Maybe I'll do a video on that. But I think I'm going to put that battery switch right there, and then this ground cable here that's unhooked. I think I'm just gonna switch that ground. I'm going to take it off the starter bolt. I'm just going to move it over here under the fuel tank, and I think I'm going to put a battery switch on this. So that's something I think I'm going to do. One other thing I did that seemed to took forever, and I got filthy doing it. This tractor, I don't know if it came from the factory that way, but this tractor was equipped with 3 remotes on the back. When I'd asked Dale why there was 3 remotes, and if you look, there's only 2 levers. This is the lift arm lever, so you can't count that, but see them 2 levers, this one and this one. It only has 2 levers, but there was 3 sets of remotes. Talked to Dale. He said this tractor had, I keep screwing this up, but it's a load monitor cylinder, but you had to have a load monitoring cylinder to run it, so virtually nobody ever used it. So I looked at it. There was 2 rubber hoses on steel lines that went underneath the deck here, and then they went around the front of the valve and into the front of the valve with steel lines. So it was rubber hose that was crimped to a steel line that went into the front. There was no oil going through them when there's nothing hooked to it. So fingers crossed, I decided just to take them out, and I'm just going to plug the holes in the front of the valve. So I haven't started the tractor yet to see if that's going to work or not, but nonetheless, I got those steel lines off. They're actually laying back here on the floor. They're laying back there by this bucket. There's one over there and one back over here. They got chucked there because, boy, it took me a whole Saturday just to get them out. Me and my nephew Grant worked real hard at getting them out. And I would show you, but it's going to be, you can just imagine the valve, which is underneath the floor, and then behind the shifters in front of that valve, there is where the 2 ports were. I found they were O-ring fitting, and I didn't have any O-ring plugs, so I put in a nipple that was O-ring on one side and just a standard JIC nipple on the other, and I had a couple of JIC caps, so I just plugged them off. So that was last Saturday. I spent all day just getting those 2 lines plugged. A couple of things that I got left to do is I got to put this cover on that's in front of your feet. I fixed the parking brake lever here. The spring that was in it was unhooked, so I took that thing all apart. Basically, I had to I welded on a little bushing on the top of that, and then I welded another bushing on the bottom of the tube. But anyway, they don't make that anymore, so I had to, I basically just had to figure it out, I guess you'd say. But the parking brake lever right here didn't work before, but now it works like it was originally. It's spring loaded like it's supposed to. It's one of them you pull it up and give it a quarter turn and it stays. I also freed up the, what do they call that? The diff lock. Yep, so now that thing works like it should. There is supposed to be a spring in it. You can see how it's still kind of bouncy here. There's supposed to be a spring in it that keeps it up. So I was gonna ask Mark if he could get me that spring or at least get a dimension off it. And maybe I could just get a spring in it. But I gotta get a spring on that. Let's talk for a minute about the dyno. Needless to say, that didn't go well. I had the seat on, and the dyno was here between the seat video and the video for the fenders. I did sit on the tractor. I was able to get the tractor in and out of gear. There's nothing wrong with the transmission, the clutch and everything. All that was great. I drove the tractor around out in the yard. As you can see, I even got some mud on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, I got some mud. But I did have quite a bit of fun driving around the yard. But that injector pump that was on there, if you remember, I had a hard time getting it started. And the dyno proved it just wasn't right. The thing crackled and popped, and I couldn't even get more than, I think, 70 horse was all I could get out of it, and it ran terrible at 70 horse. You know, it easily could run at 35, 40 horse, but then it white smoked bad, crackled and snapped, and it just it didn't go well. There was just something wrong. So the main reason for the dyno was to get it hot, because I wanted to get the rings. I'm probably talking terrible mechanic language here, but you have to get it hot to seat the rings, because this has brand new rings, brand new sleeves. The camshaft is new. So I just wanted to get it hot one time just to kind of get all that stuff broken. So I was able to get it hot. I got it so hot that we turned that stainless steel stack to purple. So we did get it hot. The other thing I wanted to get it hot for was to adjust the valves. So while I had the the valve cover off, we did adjust all the valves. But I don't know, the thing just would not run. So I talked with Dale, and me and him decided that it could be something wrong with that injector pump. I played with the timing again and again and again. I moved it forward, I moved it back. I went from 19 degrees to 22. We tried 25, back to 20. No matter what you did, it just didn't run good. So Dale had another injector pump, which, not to let the cat out of the bag, but that's the pump that's on the tractor now. The pump that Dale had at home. I asked him if he had one that I could just try, just to eliminate something. Like, it was the tractor assembled wrong, which didn't seem likely because of how well, but I'm like, Dale, it takes me at least 2 minutes to get the tractor started, and when it starts, it's nothing but white smoke. It'll smoke for 10 minutes before it finally clears out, and then it just doesn't run right. So Dale gave me a pump that he was sure was good, and I put it on there. And it took me a good bit of time to get the injector, to get fuel up to the injectors. I thought there was something wrong with that pump, or I was doing it wrong, but finally I was about ready to call it quits, and I started getting fuel out of the injectors up here at the top where the lines were. So once I started getting fuel, I shut all those injector lines on the injectors. Thing fired up, and this thing purred like a kitten. I mean, it ran phenomenal. There was no smoke. You know, the thing just sat here and just purred like it was supposed to. So the next day I came out and tried to start it, and it took me probably 20-30 seconds or so to get it started. So I was talking with Corey, and I talked with Dale, and I talked with other people, and they, you know, if it's starting hard, it was suggested that I just have to play with the timing. So it was suggested that I back the timing down. It was set at 22 degrees before top dead. Everybody said that I should maybe get it closer to the 18 mark. Then Dale found a shop manual. That was super handy. So Dale gave me a book, and the book said, you know, new tractors are set at 19. So I went back in there, and I got this injector pump that's on the tractor now set to 19. Of course I did it when it was warm, and now when you bump the key, the thing's running. So I let the thing sit overnight. The next day I come out, it would have been a Sunday, maybe a whole Sunday ago. The thing was ice cold, hasn't been ran in a few days. You bump the key, and then within 3, 4, 5 seconds, the thing was running. It had maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds of white smoke. Thing sits here and purrs like a kitten. So that injector pump that was on the tractor when I got it from Dale, there has to be something wrong with that thing. That was just a miserable bear. But this injector pump that's on here, fingers crossed, Dale lets me keep it because it makes this tractor purr like a kitten. If that pump is promised to somebody, no big deal. We'll just take the pump, which is over there on the bench, and I'll send it off, and we'll just have to have somebody look at it. But with this injector pump that Dale, I feel like, is letting me borrow, this tractor runs phenomenal. So the dyno that we had, which I appreciate John bringing it up and you know, letting us use it. I should say he ran it, because I don't know how to run a dyno. I really, really appreciate him putting the tractor on a dyno. I did it mostly just to build heat, but now if I want to check the horsepower, that dyno will be too small. That one only went to 90. This tractor's well over that. Especially since how I took the tractor runs so good, the fuel screw here, not knowing what to do or where to set it, just for fun, I turned it out 3 turns. So who knows what the horsepower rating is at. When you just goose the motor, it lets out just a small little puff of black smoke, but the thing starts great, runs great. At full throttle with no load, it's got a little bit of crackle at the top, but I'm trying to envision in a case where you would ever do that. Unless you're just showing off for your buddies, revving it up, but I'm pretty sure you put it under load, I think that'll go away. So yeah, dyno didn't go so well, but we learned a lot. I got really, really good at adjusting the timing here using the little inspection window, but I feel like I'm done with it now. I put the cover on and tighten the bolts, and I'm hoping Dale lets me keep this injector pump. Worst case, maybe I'll go get the old one rebuilt and give that one to him. But the other nice thing about this injector pump, and I don't know how I would solve this issue, but I actually had no clue where the tack cable goes. This injector pump has a tack cable drive on the back. So if this injector pump's not going to stay, I got to figure out how to get one of those and get it on that pump if that's what we're going to do. Like I say, I feel like it wouldn't take me much, but I think Dale will let me keep this pump. I hope so, because it runs fantastic with that pump on there. So confident enough it's probably going to stay. So I went ahead and put the timing cover on, valve covers on and tight. I put the breather tube on and tight. I've basically buttoned it up. I'm done messing around with the fuel injection on this thing. I think it's good. So anyway, that's a 19-minute explanation of where we're at. There's not a lot left to do on it. I gotta put that cowl on. It's fiberglass that goes around the steering wheel. I gotta put the 2 hoods on. I got a couple of front end weights here. I'd like to, maybe you can't see it from there. I actually grew up with these bigger weights. This is off of a 9600, but it doesn't fit my weight bracket real good. So Dale gave me this weight to try. and it's a 75 pounder, and it actually looks a lot better on there. This one looks way too big, plus it don't hang right. This fits the bracket correctly, and I just think it just looks better, the smaller weight. So gonna try and locate maybe, I don't really think I need much weight on here, but I'm gonna try and locate maybe 5 or 6 of these. We'll paint them up and hang them on here. Dale said he has some wheel weights. We're gonna try to put some wheel weights in here. Just not a big fan of this big, huge hole. So I think if I could put 4 or 5 weights in there, I think having a few weights inside the wheels. And again, I don't think the tractor needs to be any heavier, but just, you know, filling in the wheels, I think would look better. And then I think maybe the next video I do, here on the back of the tractor, we got some work to do. I'd like to, this lift arm, I don't know if you guys can see that, this lift arm on this left side is, that lift arm is, even with the lift arms all the way down, that lift arm is about just over a foot off the ground. Unfortunately, some implements that you hook onto are lower than that. So what I gotta do is I gotta take these pins out here. Plus I wanna grease these up. Don't forget I have to change this pin. See how it's too long? I wanna change that pin, and I wanna grease that pin, and while I got it out, I'm gonna turn this arm out, you know, a bunch of turns to get this lower. This side is adjustable, and that side I've got it cranked right out here. You can see a bunch of threads out. I got this side cranked out, and this side is about 7 inches off the floor, which I think will work pretty good. But I'm still gonna take it apart up here and grease that pin and grease that pin. So I have that to do. I got some bent up metal here. I don't have this shield anyway, so I might just take this bracket off. That's the PTO shield. I might try to find one of those covers that just goes, that's the inside of this hole is threaded. I might just try to find one of them caps and just cover that. I don't own anything that takes a PTO, so I'm not sure I would need that. This bracket where that ugly spring was, I'd like to take that off. And then we just got some work to do here with this drawbar. This pin, I guess it's just a bolt. It's stuck in there, but it's bent. I can't get it out. There's a carriage bolt on this side that's way too small. Not only that, but this drawbar has just got all kinds of play in it. So what I want to do is put a bushing or something at the far end. We might flip it just because it's worn here. But I want to put a couple of, just get this so it's not so floppy. If we use this thing doing any kind of tractor pulls, the hitch on the roller is a lot higher than the tractor. So every time you take off with the roller, it's going to actually try to pick up on that drawbar, and then it becomes a clunky, just a loud banging mess, and it's annoying to listen to. So a little bit of nuts and bolts to work with here on the back of the tractor. And then I just got to deal with these lights and these fenders. I don't like these square lights, but I don't have the correct bezel for this. I do like those flashes. We'll leave them up there, but I'd like to put round white lights in here. Not only that, but the light on this side is broke. I took this cover off so I could see what's in there, but this light is just damaged. And at least all the factory, you know, see them square slots, those are curved to put the correct light in there. So I need to deal with these lights. Dale actually bought the wiring harness for these fenders. That's over there in a box. So I just got to wire up the fenders, put the tin work on. We're almost wrapped up with this thing. So. And then after that, we'll take it down to the store where I work, down to Romance's, and we'll put it on their dyno. Their dyno goes quite a bit higher than the one that John had, but we'll put her on the dyno. Let's see what she's got. We might have to turn that screw back in some, or maybe turn it out. I don't know. But we'll get it wrapped up. I got a couple more videos I'll do for an update, but just wanted to let you guys in on where we were at or what's been going on. Some of my viewers have said they haven't seen a video since the fenders, but I haven't recorded a lot because I didn't know what was wrong with it, and you know, I just thought it would be boring content trying to see me scratch my head all the time, but I think we got her now. Okay, it's 9 o'clock at night. It's time for bed. We'll see you guys on the next one.